Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right in today because we're looking at a massive, absolute game changer of a paradigm shift in the world of technology management. To help guide us through all this, I want to introduce you to our avatar for the journey. Meet Satish. Satish is a true IT veteran. We're talking about a guy who has literally managed everything from global data center operations and legacy mainframes all the way to virtual machines, storage area networks, and disaster recovery, the whole shebang. But even with all that incredible experience, Satish knows it's time to modernize his workflow. So, today, we're going to explore exactly how we can do that. Okay, let's dive into this. For decades, the traditional IT model has been, well, entirely reactive. You basically sit around waiting for a system to break. You manually triage the damage, and your team suffers from massive, soul-crushing alert fatigue. This is the exact trap Satish is trying to escape. But the modern AI-driven approach, that is all about intelligent operations. Instead of just waiting for the crash, you're anticipating the risk. You're predicting failures before they even happen, and you're using automated routing to handle all that tedious busy work. It's a complete shift, right? Moving from constantly playing defense to finally playing offense. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the reactive IT trap, define what AIOps actually is, and then look at rescuing the service desk, monitoring and root cause, predicting the future, and finally, the human in control. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the reactive IT trap, or as it's much better known on the front lines, the data avalanche. If you're an IT professional, you know this universal pain point intimately. Modern enterprise environments produce just an absolutely enormous, completely unmanageable volume of monitoring data. We're talking logs, metrics, events, traces, user reports, change records, you name it. And right now, incredibly talented engineers are literally drowning in this specific avalanche of data, trying to process and correlate it all manually. Honestly, it's enough to make even a seasoned pro like Satish want to pull his hair out. It is just an impossible task for human cognition alone, and inevitably, that leads to missed warnings and extended downtime. Which brings us right to Section 2. What is AIOps? Let's talk about operational intelligence. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how it solves the data problem. AIOps isn't just some flashy buzzword. It's the application of AI and advanced analytics directly to your IT operations. It takes that raw, overwhelming infrastructure data we were just talking about and actually converts it into actionable operational intelligence. It detects those hidden patterns, dials way down on the noisy alerts, identifies probable causes when things go wrong, predicts failures, and, this is huge, actually recommends specific actions to your engineers. Moving right along to Section 3, rescuing the service desk and stopping that endless ticket overload. This is our very first specific AI superpower. Picture a frontline analyst on Satish's team just starting their shift. Historically, they might have to manually read through 50 identical password reset or access request tickets. I mean, it's exhausting and it's incredibly inefficient. But with an AI assistant, that heavy lifting is done instantly. The AI automatically classifies the incoming issue, identifies exactly which business services are affected, recommends a priority level, retrieves the relevant knowledge article, and get this, even drafts the response. The analyst just reviews it, approves it, and moves on to much more complex, meaningful problem solving. Next up is Section 4, monitoring and root cause. This is really all about finding the needle in the haystack. If you've ever managed platforms like Splunk or New Relic, you know exactly how hard it is to separate true service degradation from just a bunch of false positives. Let's move to and see how this builds step by step when a real degradation happens. Traditional incident management requires multiple teams scrambling to review logs and dashboards, right? But AI steps in and totally streamlines this. First, it collects related events. Second, it compares the current incident with past ones. Third, it checks for any recent system changes. Then, it maps out affected dependencies, suggests the most likely causes, and finally, recommends specific investigation steps. It literally turns hours of frantic searching into minutes of highly targeted action. Let's transition over to Section 5, predicting the future. Shifting from reacting to past incidents to acting before the user ever fails. Hardware failing, capacity exhaustion, applications suddenly degrading, storage running out, or backup silently failing. Honestly, these are the classic operational failures that keep IT directors up at night. But by applying AIOps, your systems can detect the subtle micro-anomalies that precede these events. Predicting these specific slices of operational failure allows your organization to intervene proactively. You fix the storage issue or shift the application load before a user ever even notices a slowdown. You completely avoid a service interruption or a costly SLA breach. But I want to pose a really serious question to you. Where does the knowledge actually live when things go wrong in your organization? Think about it for a second. In most enterprises, knowledge is a massive challenge because it is scattered everywhere. It's hidden in standard operating procedures, it's buried in 10-year-old emails, lost in wikis, or worst of all, it lives exclusively in the memory of one specific engineer who just happens to be on a 2-week fishing trip. The solution here is a RAG-based IT knowledge assistant. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Basically, it acts as a central brain that instantly retrieves trusted, verified answers from all your approved architecture documents and runbooks. This dramatically reduces your dependency on individual human memory and ensures total service consistency across your entire department. Finally, we reach Section 6, the human in control. Time to talk about governance, risk mitigation, and those essential rules of magic. Look, it is perfectly natural for IT veterans like Satish to be a bit skeptical of handing over the keys to an autonomous AI. And that is exactly why AI in change management is designed as an assistant, not a decider. When preparing for a change advisory board or CAB meeting, the AI rapidly organizes the risk data for you. It summarizes complex change requests, identifies every single affected system, compares the proposed change against previous failed changes to estimate risk, and even highlights any missing approvals. It drafts the summary, sure, but it does not make the final call. So, the crucial point is this. Human accountability must always remain crystal clear. High-risk changes always require human review. Period. Unverified production changes made autonomously by AI are strictly prohibited in any mature governance model. The AI reduces the investigation time and does the heavy analytical lifting for sure, but your human engineers must always validate the conclusions before pushing anything to production. Bringing this all together gives us a really clear Day 5 output, an AIO's opportunity and governance blueprint. This maps out how to safely implement these superpowers in the real world. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how this plays out. When we categorize these use cases, a clear pattern emerges. Down in the service desk area, the pain point is ticket overload. The AI opportunity? Triage and routing. The operational risk is low, so human approval is only needed for complex issues. Now, moving to monitoring, AI handles pattern detection to reduce alert noise. Again, low risk because it's analysis only. But look at change management at the bottom. The risk is high. The AI helps draft the summaries, but mandatory human approval is absolutely non-negotiable. This matrix shows exactly where AI fits into your operations, safely and effectively. I want to leave you with this really powerful thought from our source material today that just perfectly captures the ethos of intelligent operations. The goal is not to automate everything. The goal is to make every operational decision faster, better informed, and more resilient. AI isn't here to replace the deep expertise of IT professionals like Satish. It is here to amplify it. It clears out the noise so you can finally focus on the signal. Which leaves me with one final question for you to consider today. If your systems could predict their own failures and resolve their own routine tickets, what could your IT team achieve with all that reclaimed time? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.